Now coming to the law of mass action. What is the law of mass action, children? See, law of mass action is that the rate at which a substance reacts, the rate at which a substance, rate is smaller, the rate at which a substance reacts is directly proportional to its active mass. Here active mass means what? Molar concentration. The rate at which a substance reacts, let me first tell you the statement. The rate at which a substance reacts is proportional to its active mass. And the rate of a chemical reaction is proportional to the product of the active masses of the reactants. And the rate of a chemical reaction is proportional to the product of the active masses of the reactants. Now from where we got this particular one, let us say a reaction is there, A gives product. Let us say a reaction is there, A gives product. So R is directly proportional to, that is concentration of A. Active mass means molar concentration, remember it. Active mass means it is molar concentration. It is molar concentration, active mass means. Got it? So R is directly proportional to A. So R is equal to K into concentration of A. What does K stands for? K is the rate constant or velocity constant or specific reaction rate. We can say that. K is rate constant or velocity constant or specific reaction rate. We can say that. Remember it. K stands for. So many names is there for the K. So what I said the law, again I come back to the statement. Law of mass action, it says that the rate of a chemical reaction is directly proportional to its active mass. It is directly proportional to the molar concentration, the active mass. Molar concentration means you understand about molarity, simply it is molarity. Now R is equal to remove this proportional sign, we use a constant, that is K. So R is equal to K into concentration of A. Done. For this reaction we got it. Now suppose it is not necessary that always one reactant will be there and number of moles also will be 1. Is it necessary? No. There may be any number of moles, X moles of A and any number of reactants, Y moles of B plus Z moles of C gives product. We are not interested in the product. We are not concerned with the product. In chemical, what you can say, kinetics, we are not concerned. So hence we are not interested with the product. I am not writing it also. So what is the second part of the law of mass action? It states that the rate of a chemical reaction, see it's a chemical reaction, is directly proportional to the product of the active masses of the reactant. Now here A, how many times is there? How many moles is there? X moles. So A into A into A into A, X times. Instead of that, can't I write A to the power X? Similarly B, how many times is there? Y times. So B into B into B, Y times. So instead of that, what I can write? Y, B to the power Y. Similarly C to the power Z. Understood? It is saying the rate of a chemical reaction is directly proportional to the product of the active mass. See, product, I have multiplied. The product of the active masses of the reactants. Product of the active masses, I have multiplied the product of the active masses of the reactants. Now again same thing, to remove the proportional sign, we will take a constant, that is K. K into A to the power X, B to the power Y and C to the power Z. So this is your law of mass action, we get it. This one or this one, whatever you can say. This is for number of moles is 1 and number of reactant is also 1, which is not possible every time, and this is quite possible in any case of the reactions, we can say that. So understood what is the law of mass action here. So one more thing you need to understand here, which has been told to you in class 11, that if the substance is a liquid, if the reactant is a liquid, A, B, C, they are the liquid, then we measure the concentration. How we measure the concentration? Molarity. Molarity, you know, that is weight by molecular weight into volume of the solution in liters, that is W1 into 1000 by M1 into V in ml or cc. Done. Suppose if the substance is gaseous, of course we use molar concentration. In many cases we use molar concentration, but it is not right to say molar concentration. I told you last class also. In that case what we should say? Partial pressure. So here what will be the formula in case of gas? The partial pressure, if it is given, mind it. If it is not given, then use molar concentration only. If it is given in the question, gas is there but molar concentration is there, use that only. But if it is given the partial pressure, then what you will do? Partial pressure of A to the power X, partial pressure of B to the power Y into partial pressure of C to the power Z. Remember it. If it is given, repeatedly I am saying, if partial pressure is given, then you will be using this particular formula. If concentration is given, then you will be using this particular formula. Okay, fine. Now, liquid is gone, gas is gone. What about solid? In solid, no need to write anything, because in case of solid, the concentration is always constant. It is 1 or unity. Suppose A is a solid, then its concentration is 1 or unity. Why? Because in case of solid, the reaction always takes place on the surface of the solid, on the surface only. Suppose it is solid, the reaction will take place only on the surface. The total solid is not involved, only the surface of the solid is involved. So the reaction takes place on the surface of the solid. Hence the concentration remains constant, that is 1 or unity, because hardly when the reaction takes place only on the surface of the solid, total solid does not come into play. So hardly the concentration changes. Let us say the initial concentration is 2 molar. Let us say that solid, its concentration is 2 molar. Now after the reaction has got completed, we find the reaction is 1.99 molar. What is the change in concentration? 0.1 molar. Is 0.01 molar. Compared to 2 molar, 0.01 molar is quite negligible, isn't it? For that purpose, we say that 1.99 into is same only. Almost it is same, isn't it? Hardly there is difference of 0.01. That is quite negligible. So hence, for that reason, we say that whenever the reactant is solid, listen carefully. Whenever the reactant is solid, its concentration is 1 or unity. Hence, in the question, in the numericals, you will see if the reactant is solid, concentration will never be given to you. Don't say the question is wrong. Concentration will never be given to you, because concentration is taken to be as 1 or unity. Is it clear now? Understood? For the liquid, concentration will be mentioned. For the gas, concentration is there. If at all it's not given, then partial pressure will be mentioned. This is a formula. And for the solid, nothing will be given. Why? Because concentration is 1 or unity. That is constant. We can say that. Now this is about your law of mass action, what I said you. Now, you understood how to calculate the rate of the reaction. So, next is another one is there, that is known as a rate law. Rate law, it is said to be a rate equation. It is said to be as rate law or rate equation. Now, what is rate law or the rate equation? Rate equation for a reaction is an algebraic equation showing how the rate of a reaction depends on the molar concentration of one or more reactants. It means what? It is an algebraic equation. Algebraic equation means same thing. That's XA plus YB plus ZC gives what you can say products. Same thing. But the main thing you need to understand here is in the rate equation is that rate equation is the actual rate of a particular reaction. It is the actual rate. But law of mass action may or may not be, listen carefully, law of mass action may or may not be the actual rate of a particular reaction. Why? Because if the reaction is completed in one step, then the law of mass action and the rate law or the rate equation is the same. If the reaction is completed in one step, but if the reaction is completed in several steps, then listen very, very carefully. The slow step is the rate determining step. The slow step is the rate determining step if a reaction is completed in multiple of steps. Let me give you an equation, then you will come to know. Let me give an equation, an example. For example, NaOH plus H2SO4 gives, what is that? If the reaction is completed, Na2SO4 plus water. I need to balance it. 2 NaOH plus H2SO4 gives Na2SO4 plus 2 water. So here, according to the law of mass action, what should be my rate? R is equal to K into concentration of NaOH to the power 2 into concentration of H2SO4. Isn't it? See carefully. NaOH to the power 2 into concentration of H2SO4. Clear? Fine. But let me tell you, this reaction is not completed in single step. For our convenience, we write it in a single step. For our convenience. Convenience means we are balancing that. For writing, for that particular reason, we are writing in a single step. Basically, this reaction is getting completed in multiple steps. In a number of steps. How? See, NaOH plus H2SO4 gives, in the first step, NaHSO4 plus water. Now, this is a slow step. How do I come to know? I'll tell you. In the next step, NaOH further reacts with NaHSO4 to give you, what is that? Na2SO4 plus water. Now this is the fast step. First of all, the slow step and the fast step, you did not have to mug it up. It will be given to you in your exams. This will be given in a particular reaction. It will be given to you. No need to mug it up. Now, how did I get it? that this is a slow step. See what I said you in the beginning of the chapter. That is a moderate reaction, what I said you, and a fast reaction, what I said you. Moderate reaction means where breaking up a bond is involved. So slow step means here breaking up a bond is involved. Alright? Here no breaking up a bond is involved. Here once the bond is broken, the reaction becomes faster. For that purpose, this is a slow step and this is a fast step. Understood the reason? Here the breaking up a bond. Breaking up bond means NaOH plus H2SO4. What is that? What is this reaction? It's double decomposition, isn't it? Na reacts with replaces one atom of hydrogen, alright, to form NHSO4 plus water. So there is a breaking of a bond between H and HSO4 minus. Actually H2SO4 can be written as what? It can be written in this way, na? H plus and HSO4 minus, yes or no? It can be written in this way. So there is a breaking up a bond between H and HSO4 minus. But here no further breaking of a bond is required. Just you have to replace an ionic reaction, just you have to replace this hydrogen. Once the bond is broken, no further breaking is required. Just you have to replace there the electrostatic forces you have to release. It's a very simple example I am giving you. When you are going from one place to another place by the help of a bike, let us say you are going by the help of a bike. Once you start the bike and then you go, isn't it, to reach to that particular destination, or throughout the way you go on starting the bike and you reach the destination? It is not in that way. That throughout the way you are starting the bike, that means your bike is having some problem. If throughout the way you are going to start, suppose you are going to a certain distance, bike stops, again you have to start. That means your bike is having some problem. So once you start the reaction, once you start the bike, then you reach the destination. Here also same thing. Once you start, once the breaking of a bond is involved between H and HSO4 minus, no further breaking is required because already the bond is loosened. It becomes loose and easily the next hydrogen is being replaced by sodium easily. So hence this step is a fast step and this step is a slow step. I think you understood this. That here the breaking is involved, here no such breaking is involved. Just have to replace it. That's all. So hence this is a fast step, this is a slow step. But no need to worry about all these things. In the exams, how will I know this? This will be given to you, the slow step and the fast step. But I explained you. For your knowledge, I explained you that how to determine, how we find it out, which is slow step and fast step. Very simple thing. Wherever the breaking up a bond is involved, that is a slow step. And after, once the breaking up a bond is involved, no further breaking is required. Rest of the bond becomes loose, it becomes easy. And simply, it can break and other atom can be replaced. We can say that, okay, as it is being here. So hence, as what I said you, in a rate equation or rate law, the slow step is the rate determining step. Why? Because from the fast step we cannot determine the rate. Remember it, what I said you. In the beginning of the reaction, there are three types of reaction I said. Instantaneous reaction, very slow reaction, and moderate reactions or slow reaction. We can say that. I said you. Instantaneous reaction we cannot find the rate because the time interval is very small. 10 to the power minus 14 to 10 to the power minus 16th of a second. Practically it is not possible. So that is what is happening here. But here it is possible because time interval is some seconds or in minutes. So always remember that for that particular purpose, slow step is the rate determining step. So in your exams also, or when you do the numericals, you will see number of steps will be given, and the slow step you need to determine the rate. From the slow step only you need to determine the rate, and in a particular reaction only one step will be the slow step. Not many steps, only one, because once only the breaking of bond is involved. After that the rest of the bond is easily broken. I told you many times. Alright, so hence this is your slow step. So R is equal to K into concentration of NaOH into concentration of H2SO4. This one I will write it as H2SO4. Alright, so hence what you find it here, what is the rate now? R is equal to K into this. This is the actual rate. And what is the rate you see? This is not the actual rate. Here NaOH to the power 2, here NaOH to the power 1. So it is differing or not, theoretically and practically. So for that reason I said, if a reaction is completed in one step, then the law of mass action and the rate law, this is your rate law, the rate equation, is the same. This is the algebraic equation which I have given you, is the same if it is completed in one step. But if it is completed in several steps, then the slow step is the rate determining step. Once again, let me tell you the statement which I said you about the what you can say rate law, the rate equation. Rate equation for a reaction is an algebraic equation showing how the rate of the reaction depends on the molar concentration of one or more reactants. Got it? It depends on the molar concentration of one or more, what you can say, reactants. It shows practically. Got it? Got it? Understood all of you what I said? That in case of mass, law of mass action, this is the rate law. This is theoretical. This is not correct, but this is actual rate. So always remember that the rate we calculate from experimentally, this is being calculated experimentally, is the actual rate. The rate which we calculate from law of mass action is not the actual rate. We can say that. Okay? Again I repeat, if it is completed in one step, then it is actual rate. If it is not completed in one step, then it is not the actual rate of the reaction. I hope you understood. Now, there are certain characteristics of rate constant, the K, the value of K. Alright, there are certain characteristics. Now, first of all, its value is different for different reactions. Yes, for this reaction and for this reaction, the value is not the same, it is different. For different reactions, the value of K is different. Mind it, it's not the same. Why do the same? The rate constant depends upon reaction to reaction. Suppose if it is another reaction I will take, it will take different values. So here I will write K1 and here I should write K2 correctly. I should write K1 and K2 because both are not K, both are not same. Understood? Correct. It is a measure of the rate of the reaction. How? Greater the value of K, greater is the rate of reaction. If this value is greater, rate of reaction is greater. If this value is smaller, rate of reaction is smaller. So it is a measure of the rate of reaction. It is a measure of the rate of reaction. Value of K is a measure of the rate of reaction. If this is more, this is more. If this is less, this is less. Fine. Now, it does not depend upon the initial concentration of the reactions. No. The rate of reaction does not depend upon the initial concentration of reaction. Why? Because the rate of reaction depends upon the slow step of the reaction. Whatever may be the initial concentration you have taken it here, it does not depend upon that. It depends upon the slow step. Whatever you take it, suppose you take it here 5 molar, it is 2 molar. It depends how many molar is being used during the course of the reaction. Which course of the reaction? During the slow step of the reaction. You can take any concentration. Suppose here you take 100 molars and here you take 50 molar. But suppose only 1 molar is being used. Here also 1 molar is used. Then how it depends upon the initial concentration? So the rate constant depends upon the slow step of the reaction. Alright, depends upon the slow step of the reaction, determined from the slow step. So hence it does not depend upon the initial concentration of the reaction. Alright, if in the question if it is coming that the initial concentration of the reactant is increased by 8 times, what will be the rate constant of the reaction? Nothing, it will be same. It will be the same because initially I am increasing. Alright, but if in the slow step it is a change, then definitely the rate constant is going to change. For that reason I said you it depends from reaction to reaction. Alright, its value is constant at a fixed temperature but increases with increasing temperature. At a particular temperature, the value is fixed. This value is fixed, the rate constant value is fixed but increases with increasing temperature. Why? Because when you increase the temperature, you have studied already, the rate of reaction also increases. Factors affecting the reaction I have studied. The rate of reaction changes with increasing temperature, it becomes more faster. Alright, so if this is becoming more, I told you just now to you, this also has to be more. So for that reason, rate of reaction, rate constant is a constant for a particular temperature, but changes with change in temperature. Suppose when you will be doing the numericals, you will see, suppose the temperature is given 300 Kelvin and another temperature is 325 Kelvin. The rate constant for both the temperature will never be same. Listen carefully, will never be same. For 300 Kelvin, you will be having one rate constant, that is K1, and for 325 Kelvin, you will be having another rate constant, that is K2. If it is not given, then your question is wrong. Because 2 temperature means there has to be 2 rate constant. Because rate of reaction changes with change in temperature. Okay, so these are the what you can say characteristics of the rate constant. We can say that. Now, next is after that we'll come to the order of the reaction. It's very important. But we'll do in the next area. Thank you.